I was discouraged by a lot of people in my community about doing a video about this. And I've had other people in my community, locally here, asking me, Donny, why have you not said anything yet? Why haven't you spoken out? You normally would in a situation like this. And they're right. I normally would. I guess the truth is, I really wasn't sure what to say because I feel like I've said it before. So if you're really confused about what I'm even talking about, which you probably are, there's been some really bad things happening in my community lately of West Branch, Michigan. I'm just going to flat out say it, West Branch, Michigan. I went to the local high school, Ogama Heights, and you know that a lot of my experiences at that high school were very, very difficult. I was bullied the entire time there. I'm a survivor of suicide. I went through some very dark days, months, and even years at that place. And after I graduated, I went to college. I got counseling for a lot of those things that I went through, and, well, here I am. I am a teacher now myself, and I tried to use all of my learning experiences and all of my pain and survival as a means to help students do the same thing. But over the past 2 weeks, there have been some really bad things happen here. A number of kids have taken their lives, and it caused a huge outpouring of grief in the community, as you might imagine, ranging from like family grief to grief of other people who know what it's like to lose someone to suicide. But over the past year, there's been an alarming number of kids who go to this high school, who live in this community, take their lives. And people are trying to blame other people. People are blaming parents. People are blaming teachers. People are blaming the administration of the school. There's a lot of blame going around. And, of course, there's a lot of very harmful rumors going around, too, that aren't helping anything. The truth is, and this is for those of you who've been wondering what I'm going to say about this, I think it's both everyone's fault and it's no one's fault at the same time. It's no one's fault because how can we psychically, at all times, know what another person is going through? I don't think it's possible. We are trained to spot signs. We're trained to, well, teachers notably are trained to see things, but sometimes we can't. You know, we're human beings and we're not perfect. But at the same time, I do think it's everyone's fault because our community doesn't choose to have lengthy, in-depth conversations about these topics, about suicide awareness. The community stifles those who have gone through it because they fear that it's going to make the kids uncomfortable, or they fear that it's going to trigger parents. And, you know, believe me, I am very empathetic to such things because I've been there, but there is a certain point where a community needs to hunker down and have a very blunt and honest conversation about what we need to do in order to ensure that more kids do not take their lives. And I think the truth is, we need to have more conversations about mental health. We need to have more resources. And when I say resources, I mean better access to local mental health facilities and services, and I also mean more community events that allow people to express themselves. I'm not talking about sports. This high school that I went to revolves around nothing but sports. I'm talking about more creative outlets. Outlets that will allow students to express themselves, to be who they are, to not be afraid of themselves being open about their sexuality, to not be afraid of themselves not fitting into what makes a man or what makes a woman, to not be afraid of not fitting into these cliques and stereotypes that are learned experiences. When I say they're learned experiences, I mean they're learned intergenerationally and cross-generationally. People will learn to despise gay people because it's a generation thing. The older generation teaches it, the younger generation assimilates it and perpetuates it. The older generation teaches one thing, the younger generation does it the exact same way because that's all they know. And I'm not saying that it's just an older generation's fault. It's not, because honestly we do live in a culture that's toxic when it comes to expressing things, but I think that's a lot of the problem. Like, the prior generations have this mentality where we need to just man up and deal with it and, punch our bullies in the nose, and the truth is that doesn't always work. Believe me, I've tried, and I'm probably going to do another video talking about it because I think that warrants conversation too. But I guess if for those of you who've wanted me to say something, here's what I'm going to conclude with. Our community needs to mobilize, and it needs to take action, not only by creating greater mental health services and greater access to those services, but also having active conversations and becoming involved in created community events that seek to allow people to express themselves more effectively. Anyway, thank you for listening. I will keep speaking out on this. If you would like, please share your thoughts in the comment section below, and you have a good night. Thank you.